Hello children, we already studied the lesson third level. This is the first lesson in the non-detailed textbook Vistas. It is a story about a 31-year-old man named Charlie. Now this is a story of a man who is quite young, who is stressed and worried, and as a result of that we find that he faces a psychological dilemma. He feels that he has come across the third level. Is it a figment of his imagination? Or is it true? That is the question. Besides, this is a psychological story that refers to the subway at the Grand Central Railway Station which takes passengers to Galesburg. Why this attraction of the town Galesburg? We always talk about that. Oh, those were the days when we had a peaceful life. Your grandparents talk about all that. That 50 years ago, 30 years ago, how everything was peaceful. Now during the pandemic year or during these last few years, this modern world is full of uncertainties. And there are a lot of worries, and that's why a large number of youth are under stress. They feel depressed. Now here is a psychological story that refers to the subway at Grand Central Railway Station. In addition, this subway becomes the interconnection between the narrator's harsh reality and fantasy. So he goes into a fantastic world. And what does it connect? It is the subway that connects, is the third level that connects. The third level was a way of escape for Charlie. As life in the modern world is full of uncertainties, worries and stress, it takes Charlie to a different world that his friend also calls a walking dream wish fulfillment. So it's a waking dream wish fulfillment. So he's awake, but he's dreaming, and he's trying to fulfill his wish, and his wish is to remain in a peaceful world of yesteryears. The story is about Charlie's tendency to escape from the world. So what does he do to escape from this world and go into that particular world which he likes to live in? Most importantly, the third level starts because of Sam's letter written on 18 July 1984. So later we find a very interesting twist in this story. This story shows the connection between time and space. We go back to the history of the time. We go back to the earlier time. So we travel during this particular story to earlier period. At times the Grand Central Station seems like a maze to Charlie. It is like a maze. It's a very perplexing, it's a very puzzling for Charlie. Why it's very puzzling? And he goes on talking about all that. While taking the subway earlier, he had lost his way a couple of times. But this time he is quite sure that he has gone to the third level. One time he entered the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. So when he came out, he was there in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. While the other time he appeared at an office building that was 3 blocks away. Where this time he loses his way and something unique occurs. Charlie visits the third level, and that third level we have to find out whether it's a figment of imagination or to escape from the worries of this modern world. He always wanted to travel to Galesburg with his wife Louisa. So both of them they wanted to lead a very peaceful life. It was a town full of trees, where people had all the liberty and people enjoyed music. So it was altogether different kind of world. Back in his head, it is a wonderful town still, with big old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees. The place has a pleasant and long summer dusk, and where people have ample of time. So there's a lot of leisure time for people to have their hobbies, to play guitar, to sing songs. Hence, the next day during lunch, he exchanges $300 for old currency, amounting to some hundred only. In addition, the amount doesn't bother him. He believes that everything there will be cheaper. However, he could never again find the corridor that leads him to the third level. But did he find the third level? He came across the third level when he wanted to go to Galesburg, when he went to the ticket window and when he showed the old currency. There he was threatened that he would be arrested. Then he tried to run away from there. Did he go to the third level? No, he has not gone to the third level again. But who has gone to the third level? It's a Sam. And he takes us to that particular world. And there is a total twist towards the end. When his wife came to know about this, she asked him to stop looking. She tells him not to look for the third level. Unexpectedly, his friend Sam Weiner also disappears. And his wife keeps on looking for him in the weekends. Moreover, Sam was the one whom Charlie shares his idea about Galesburg. Sam is a psychiatrist and he tells him there's nothing like third level that exists. He says you have got a desire to fulfill, and that desire how you can fulfill? You can fulfill through this kind of imagination, and he has been there in the fantastic world. So he calls it as waking dream wish fulfillment. Charlie inherited the hobby of stamp collection from his grandfather, and Sam says you have got that hobby of philately, and because of that hobby of philately you go to that particular world. And someday, while looking at the stamp collection, probably you are transported to that world, and you started thinking about that world. It's an imaginative flight what you had. You didn't go really there. So realistically, you were not there trying to go to Galesburg, or you were not there in the third level, but it was imaginative flight. Charlie finds a letter that was earlier not there. Also, it has a postmark on a Feder 6 cent stamp with a picture of President Garfield. Further, the envelope read as 18 July 1894 to Charlie's grandfather in Galesburg, and it addresses Charlie. And that's why we all are very surprised, and Charlie's story gets a twist. And who is that person who goes to Galesburg? Very interestingly, it's his psychiatric friend who was trying to convince him that what he had thought was a figment of imagination and it was not a reality. In the letter, Sam tells Charlie that he has reached Galesburg and invites Charlie and Louisa there. There they are invited. After going to stamp and coin shop, he gets to know that Sam exchanged $800 for old currency bills to establish his business in Galesburg. So there he cannot have his old business. He has to establish new business. And there people are all at peace. There is no need of any psychiatrist. Nobody is mentally ill. Besides, Sam was none other than Charlie's psychiatrist. So here what do we conclude? Through the third level, the writer wants to escape from the modern world to peaceful and quiet old times. So probably he wants to take us to that particular world which was quite peaceful and where there was harmony, where people had enough leisure time. There's a lot of relevance to the modern world. And when we go on imagining about all this, at that time we also feel sometimes we go on daydreaming. But there's a very thin dividing line between the fantasy and reality. And remember that we shouldn't cross that thin dividing line.
Where people from the countries that have the most feel like they have the least. People that live in countries that have the most reason to be happy seem to have the least amount of happiness. Why is this? Is it comparison? Comparing ourselves to everyone who has more in this social media world we live in? Never feeling enough because another will always be better in some area? Comparison is the thief of joy. Never compare yourself to others. It doesn't matter how great you are. If you are not grateful for who you are and what you have, you'll never be happy. There's always going to be someone who has more money than you. There will always be someone doing better than you, someone fitter than you, better looking than you. If you are always comparing yourself, you'll always lose. One thing other people will never have over you: they are not you. Your greatest asset is that you are unique. And when you are free to be exactly as you are, that's the greatest way to live. The less you care, the happier you'll be. Unhappiness and depression comes when you focus on what you don't have. Instead, if we appreciate what we do have and focus on where we do want to be, we can feel better almost instantly. Appreciation and gratitude is the single most powerful way out of depression or any low states. You cannot feel both deep gratitude and negativity at the same time. If you can, you're not feeling the gratitude. You might be saying you're grateful, but you couldn't be feeling it, because science shows that gratitude and depression do not go together. Another important principle that helps many who suffer with depression and anxieties is this: they are almost certainly, in every case, not depressed or suffering with anxiety 100% of the time. They have selective depression, selective anxiety. There are moments, even if they are brief, of laughter, of feeling hopeful about the future, brief moments of happiness, of connection with others, brief moments of love and feeling good. It's certainly not a conscious selection, rather something that comes about with triggers and from a lifetime of conditioned thoughts. I can only be happy if X, Y, and Z occurs in my life. Having rules like I can only be happy if will always ensure unhappiness, because life always throws challenges and obstacles your way. Keeping this in mind, you then can understand on an intellectual level that depression and anxiety does not have to be permanent. You can figure out why you feel down by learning about how your brain works, how your mind works, and you can direct it to something that feels much better long term. Comparison is another big issue. especially these days with the increase in social media and the amazing revelation of filters. Filters that make you look like a supermodel in one swipe, but also the filters many apply to their lives, like exaggerating everything in their life to make themselves look bigger and better, and leaving out all the negative things that are really causing them pain. The happiest people on earth do not compare themselves to others, ever. They run their own race, and they are happy for all others to run theirs in their own time and their own way. Happy people don't have the best of everything. They make the best of everything. Things will never work out as planned. This is life, not a movie. How you respond to how things work out will determine the quality of your life. Let me ask you this. Do you believe there has ever in the history of this world lived a human that was depressed beyond measure in a world of suffering, but still somehow managed to turn it around and create a life not only amazing to him, but envied by others? Of course there has. The truth is, the pain you feel when you are depressed is coming from your thoughts about your current life situation or situations. Not the events, but your thoughts about the events. Change your thoughts and you change your life. Use the pain for a greater benefit. The key principle in overcoming unhappiness of depression is not to focus on the depression. That's what most people do, and the reason it never goes away. Instead, you should focus on where you want to be. Focus on the feelings you want to feel. Focus on the person you want to become and work towards doing the things that you must do to become that person. Feel how you would feel if everything in your life fell into place. One of the fastest ways out of depression is to create a compelling future, a greater purpose for your life. If you are genuinely excited for your future, you can't be miserable now, and you can let go of anything that is in the past. The thing that keeps one going is having a sense of future. The thing that tears us down is not having one. Set meaningful goals that get you working towards something that excites you. Don't be attached to outcomes or gaining of material things, but get excited about who you will become, how you will develop, and who you will be able to help as a result of you creating this amazing life for yourself. Who will benefit from you living a happier life? Who will benefit from you being the example for others?